How's it going, everybody? I am Donut, and of course, as always, this is a Black Lives Matter and all cops are bastards supporting channel, and of course, remember that is a worldwide issue. A lot of people try and say that it's an American-specific issue, but I don't even fucking live in America. It's a worldwide issue, motherfucker. This is Agent Carter, Season 2, Episode 2. What is the title of this one? A View in the Dark. A View in the Dark. So that is the luminescence in the body. We're gonna, I guess we're going to be getting a sort of answer to that already, in the second episode. I mean, more than what we already got, but, getting more into the Ice Dine energy and seeing how the Ice Cop got his powers. I guess that is our next step. Again, I think we're gonna talk to the Lieutenant. That makes the most sense. Go to the police station and talk to all of them. I guess, yeah, I don't have any other guess. That's it. If you want to see the full length, check it out in the Patreon below for $4 a month. Okay, so, confirmation, not gravitonium. It is zero matter. Very similar kind of substance. They both have this sort of anti-gravity thing happen when it first goes off, but then it sucks everything in. Almost like an implosion, but, I thought, oh, is it blowing a hole in another dimension? It's like a crack in space-time that it's being sucked into, but no, it's not that. I think everything is being condensed down into this liquid, so, like, in the sense that it's taking all the energy, it's also taking the matter itself and condensing the matter down. That's why it's zero matter. I think, so, the people in the vehicles and all that sort of stuff, it's not like we're going to find that somewhere else, like it teleported it somewhere, even if that would be in space somewhere. I think it's, that it's just condensing it all. But not like the implosion grenade from last season, because it did implode and, condense everything, but not like to a zero matter degree, to where it's like a liquid. And yeah, the way this liquid works too, where it's like, it is a liquid, but then it's got this almost like gaseous form around it as well. Interesting. I do think, so let's just cut right to the end of the episode real quick. I do think that Wilkes and Frost both have, I think they both have part of it. I think sort of split between the two of them. Maybe a bit of it is also still out in the world somewhere, and it's going to just start eating away at other stuff. But I think it's contained within Wilkes and Frost, and I think they both have it. I don't think Wilkes is dead at all. So yeah, that is my... I mean, they could easily have Wilkes die here, but I don't think they're going to. Glad to see that Jarvis is training as well. I hope that we get to see him use those new skills at some point in the future season. I can't believe he thought he could actually try and take Peggy. But to be fair, he did get the one up on her at the end there with flipping her back over. But yeah, I hope that we'll see some of that. That'll be nice to, Jarvis has been in the fights before, but he's always just kind of like done what he, the diner fight I'm thinking of, where he just sort of improv'd around, but seeing him actually be able to have Piggy's back, yeah, that'd be cool. Sousa really needs to get his fucking head on straight, figure out if he actually wants to marry this fucking woman or not, because it really does not feel like it. It really seems like he's jumping into this marriage way too quickly, and I want to blame it on the 40s and say, oh, well, that's just the way, the 40s and the 50s and everything. I know it's past the 40s at this point, but, yeah, like, that sort of shit goes on fucking today with so many people jumping into, marriages super early and all that sort of stuff. Boggles my mind, man. I don't know how you could possibly want to marry somebody without being sure that you would be fine with them for the rest of your life. I don't know. I don't get it. But, Sousa, you gotta call this off. I'm not even saying you gotta make up your mind. You gotta call this off. It is very clear you don't want to be with this woman. Very, very clear. But I don't want him to be with Peggy either, so. So, very surprised that Chadwick has not been assassinated yet. I really thought that's what was going to happen. I can't even say, like, I'm not going to let them trick me and think that he's not going to be assassinated. But no, he wasn't assassinated. Again, it would it would bring more attention to them, and, they wouldn't want that. But I didn't really expect that to stop them. Knowing why it would be a bad decision does not really stop Hydra from doing that sort of shit before. I mean, I don't really exactly know if this is exactly Hydra. I mean, it's the Hydra, but you don't call it Hydra. It is Hydra people, but none of them are going to call it Hydra because they're all parts of other organizations. But yeah, so I doubt we'll name drop it as Hydra this season, but that's clearly what it is. And so they tell him to focus on his Senate career, and Chadwick does seem like he wants to just focus on his Senate career legitly now. Like, he doesn't seem like he's lying about that. Doesn't seem like he's bullshitting his wife or anything. It does seem like he actually does want to, and thinks it is a good idea, like they were saying it was. But so now we have Whitney being the girl who is going to be our actual main antagonist for this arc, I assume. Which, fits back in with the Dottie thing from last season, and just having, the women be the more competent characters in the show. Really appreciated. And I think she does have an interesting character, too, with the whole movie side of things, and how much she's looked down on there and not respected and all that. But then we have her relationship with her husband as well, and she has the moments where she's very angry and yells at him about what's happening and everything. But at the same time, she lets him have these mistresses. She, multiple ones. This is a reoccurring thing. So she sort of has this mentality of like, I will put up with this stuff in order to change this stuff. Or maybe even like I will put up with all this stuff for now in order to later, when we get all this power, I will essentially have that power as well, so I won't have to be looked down on anymore. I'm assuming that's kind of where she's going with it. But we'll see more as the season goes on. I really appreciate how much Miss Jarvis, I don't think we got her name yet. I really appreciate how much she enjoys watching Edwin suffer. Because, like, the flamingo scene, with her just watching him be chased around the flamingo. What was the point? It's not like they were trying to catch the flamingo or anything. It seems like she just said, hey, Edwin, can you go out there and be chased around by a flamingo for my enjoyment? And he said, okay. Relationship goals. Yeah, overall, kind of a slower episode. Like, way more focusing on just Peggy and Wilkes, and they're sort of like just getting out of a shitty situation sort of vibe this episode. Really everything from once they watched the film, it was just all sort of trying to get away and be sneaky and that sort of stuff. But I don't know, it kind of felt a little bit slow to me. Possibly because I just couldn't really get into Wilkes' character at all. But, I also think it was just kind of a slow episode in general. But, I mean, it's only episode 2, so. But yeah, with Wilkes, he's had way too many just, like, yikers moments for me to trust him at all. Even though I know the show wants me to, he's just been way too fucking creepy. He's such an absolute creep. And I do see why the show is putting the two of them together. I get it, though. Like, they're being discriminated against in very different ways, but the system has beaten both of them down to the point of just accepting it as a part of life. And while Wilkes really hasn't stood up for Peggy anywhere close to the degree that, she has for him, it's still, sort of that thing of them sticking up for each other in different ways. Even though, again, he hasn't really done that, but still, maybe he will in the future. I mean, like with Peggy, too, she has this, like, oh, I respect myself, so I don't care if the SSR respects me, with the whole chief situation with Thompson, or even like Sousa being promoted to chief in LA and not her. She does I respect myself, I don't care what they think about me. But it's not really about calling people out on, it's about calling people out on the shit for others, not for you, right? In season 1, episode 1, or even, I found Sousa, trying to stand up for Peggy and defend her to be a bit unneeded, because I think the show was, trying to get us to assume, and by the nature of what Peggy said herself, that she could stand up for herself, and that she, can, throw this shit right back in their face and everything. But, she hasn't really, done that since. She just kind of like accepted it and dealt with the hand that she has because, I know what I'm capable of. But again, there's plenty of other women in the SSR that, there's not plenty of other women, but there is other women in the SSR that you need to be sticking up for this shit and calling out this shit because you are at the top already in a way. She's not like chief or anything, but she, in the position that she does has, needs to use that to help the others below her. But yeah, so TLDR, I think we all got to do a hell of a lot better with calling out bigotry, in our own individual unique things. Black people got to call out racism more. I got to call out shit like homophobia more and stuff like that. We all got to call out our individual thing more, but in general, we also just have to call out anybody on their shit in general. As I said with the Sousa thing, I felt it was unneeded for her to call out Peggy in the very beginning because I assumed Peggy could stand up for herself. But at the same time, if you're in a situation where a woman is being, talked down to and everything, and she is not standing up for herself, then stand up for her, and then she will have the ability to, or not the ability, but hopefully then she will also stand up for herself, and even then maybe it's uncomfortable for her. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to feel like the white knight coming in to protect somebody, right? Is that it for this episode? I feel that was like the big, core part of this episode was Wilkes and the discrimination and a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I do like that they touched on the fact, like, yeah, he worked his ass off to get that degree, but he also wouldn't have been able to get that degree at all if it wasn't for the connections through the army. Or not even the fact that he wouldn't have been able to get the degree, but that the degree itself wouldn't have really mattered much because it would still, in the eyes of most people, especially at that time, just be, oh, it's just a black guy with a degree. It's not really going to change anything. What really changed everything was his connections through the military and through all that sort of stuff. And that really is what gets you the shit is connections. But yeah. What else? I don't know. The clown joke was so out of left field, so random, but I loved it. So weird. Yeah. Again, slow episode. Not a whole lot to talk about, but excited to see what they're gonna do next episode with this dark matter stuff and with Whitney and with Wilkes. Yeah, I also, by the way, I do love that we're not touching, like, that this is not just solely a, speaking about, like, discrimination against women and all that. We have that plenty with Peggy and Dottie and Whitney and all that. But I do like that it's just discrimination all around the board. We're talking about it a lot, all over the place. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the next one. Till then, get the fuck out of here.